been watching a lot of videos about the log cabin block, and I have a problem with the log cabin block. Oh, sure, it's a standard. Everybody knows how to do it. It's simple, it's easy for beginners. But here's the thing, it has a lot of rules. Do we have to follow those rules? Like, does the center block have to be red to represent the fire in the fireplace of home? Do we have to go dark to light or light to dark? Do we have to have one side one color, another side another color so that you get those steps? I don't think so. Let me show you what I've done to the log cabin block. So the reason I was looking at videos for the log cabin block was because I have an entire box, I mean serious size of box, that is all strips. And I just discovered I have 2 more bags of strips. So I've got to do something with all these strips. I was thinking, the log cabin block, that's a nice, easy block. I could whip a bunch of those out, right? Then I saw the rules. I'm like, rules schmools. So I just started whacking away at my fabric and trying something different. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is tell you that for now, I am putting a red block in the center of my log cabin block. I don't know if I'm going to keep that rule or not, but it's my block. I can do whatever I want. So for now, I am going to keep a red block in the center of my log cabin block. But that's about the only thing traditional I'm going to keep. I'm not cutting, I'm not measuring. I'm going to use what I have. I'm going to put it together the way I want it to put together. And if it comes out wonky, well, that'll just make it interesting. Let me show you what I've been doing. All right, here's my center block. It's not square. I did not even try to make it square because it doesn't matter. This is going to be kind of a free-form block. And I'm just going to grab a piece of fabric and sew it on. I am going to finger press so that the seam goes out. That I like. And I'm just going to generally trim this off. I'm not measuring, I'm not squaring up to anything. And I'm going to grab another piece. Now, the great thing is all of these strips are already cut. Some of them are cut straight, some of them aren't. And I've got strips here that measure anywhere from 3/4 of an inch to probably 3 inches. I don't know, I didn't really measure them. I just pulled a bunch of strips out of the box just to see what I could do. All right, finger pressing, going to the outside, grab another strip. Sure, why not? Now, somebody in the audience just had a kitten because I just randomly grabbed a piece of fabric that is really wide, probably 2.5 inches, because it looks like I was going to use this for binding. Well, settle down, get a cup of tea, and just bear with me. because I think you're going to enjoy what this turns out in the end. There's also a lot of videos out there for the wonky log cabin block, but you have to keep cutting and squaring and cutting. I decided I didn't want to do that. I just want to eyeball things and see what happens. All right, let's get a different color here. I've got a million colors over here, all sorts of fabric. Oh, this is a good one. Can you appreciate that this has a straight cut on it, but it's not parallel from one side to the other. And that's okay. This is a block I am doing for fun and to use up scraps. What's your favorite block? Have you changed it just to make it your own? If not, maybe you should. Because now that I've done this to this log cabin block, it may become my go-to for scrap buster. Like I said, I got a lot of strips. This is a good time to talk about this thread bunny. I first heard the phrase thread bunny from Kate at the last Homely House. And she borrowed the idea from somebody who called it beginners and enders, because you can use this when you get to the end of your block so that you don't have all these threads to cut. Isn't that amazing? So I prefer a thread mouse, but thread bunny's fun. We can do that. This is all the waste I've got. Isn't that great? And look, and I'm going to press this, and it's already taking on a life of its own. I love it. Oops, already did that one. Let's do this one. And as you can see, I am just using whatever strip I want. That has a selvage on it. I really don't like the selvages on them. I know a lot of people make selvage quilts, but I may break the rules on this log cabin, but I just don't like selvages. Oh well, to each their own. I'm going to keep doing this, and my goal is to get this block to a 10.5-inch block so that it'll finish at 10 inches. Big blocks are really fun to do, especially when you're doing a charity quilt or just using up your scraps. And here's another thing I've been thinking about. We use the phrase a scrappy quilt kind of ubiquitously. Well, what is a scrappy quilt? How many different fabrics does it take to make a scrappy quilt? Have you ever made a quilt that had 5 different fabrics? Of course you have. Did you call it scrappy? I don't know. I'd love to see in the comments your definition of a scrappy quilt. I used to think of scrappy quilts if I had 5 or 6 fabrics in it, you know? But my definition has evolved because, frankly, so has my fabric stash. Now you'll notice I just cut a little tiny bit off. That's just so I can get a better approximation for that 1/4 inch. All right, time for, oh, let's put a blue one in here. This is the fabric from the kaleidoscope quilt. It was on in the order. Oh, and somebody out there just had heart failure because they saw me grab my scissors and just whack off that piece of fabric. Well, I suppose maybe this video should come with a warning for those with heart conditions. Now, again, somebody's going to be very worried because it's a rectangle. It's not a square, but look how I can fix it really easily. And I'm not really fixing it. I'm just having it change directions or size. Ooh, this is a good one. I know in one of my videos I talked about every time I went to the Southwest, I ended up buying more fabric with Coco Peles. I'm still using fabric with Coco Peles. So many Coco Peles. But they're fun. All right, I'm going to take a break from recording. And I'll bring you back when I get this close to 10 inches so you can see what it looks like. What do you think so far? It's awesome. So here's my finished block. I have pressed it, and you can see it doesn't matter that the strips were not perfectly parallel because here's what we're going to do. We are going to make a 10.5-inch block, and so I'm going to do that by cutting a side. It doesn't matter which side, and it doesn't have to be parallel to anything. So we're just going to whack that off. Now that's our straight side. So from here, we're going to get that 10.5-inch width. Okay. There it is. And honestly, I've made 2 or 3 of these, and it does make your eyes kind of twirl around because nothing's parallel to anything. It's going to be square. And the sides are going to be parallel to each other. But that's about where symmetry is going to end, and I really like it. All right. All right, this is my last one. You can see how my eye wants to straighten everything out and put them down perfectly straight. Not going to do it. We're going to make a square. It's going to look anything but square. Isn't that awesome? All right, let me show you on the board the other blocks that I've made. I've made these 3 blocks in, I don't know, hour and a half probably, because I didn't iron, I didn't measure, I didn't worry about it. I just let it happen. Here's the one that you saw me make. These are the blocks I did before that. And there's a piece of white here that doesn't really show because of the white on my board, but honest. See, there it is. You can see it now. And you can see how this one's almost square-ish. But look at this one. Yes, this block is square. And you can tell that by seeing the outside. But it's not perfectly parallel within the block because the strip sets were not perfectly parallel. And organically, they just started to shift a little bit to make this wonky little log cabin block. I even put 3 little strips here in the center because I just had a little bit of each. It worked fine. And this is a strip set from another quilt. Why I saved a strip set, I don't know, but it found a home. So break some rules. Make a log cabin block any way you want to. Thanks for watching.